Hello.
Commissioner Blackman,
Oh, can you hear me?
we
Yes, I
can't
can
hear
hear you.
slightly muffled, but we can hear you.
I'll try to do something about the muffled sound.
You sound a little bit better there when you lean forward.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Welcome. Commissioner Blackman,
Yes,
you may want to may I suggest you put your microphone on mute?
that's a very good idea. Thank you.
Welcome.
You don't have to choose your words so carefully.
Morning.
Good morning. How are you, Jane?
Oh, wonderful, Mary. Happy New Year to you, sweetie.
Happy New Year to you too, dear.
Every day's a blessing, Mary.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. We're reminded of that every day. Every day.
Every day.
So I can't pull it up on my iPad. I'll just have to resume to follow it on my desktop.
Okay. So it's only me and you, hon?
So far we're not due till noon, but
Oh,
just the two of us.
well, just a few more minutes.
Yeah, we got a few more, but
So how was your holiday, sweetie?
busy and wonderful.
Yeah, that's the way it is here. Busy, busy, and I need a vacation from holidays.
Yeah, instead of having to go right back to work, we need a few days to recoup.
I know I need a vacation. That's what I said. I'm leaving here on Thursday to go back to Detroit, but I hear that it's really, really cold.
It's cold, darling.
Hopefully it'll warm up a little bit.
I don't know if you're going to have to reconsider, but it's cold.
It's cold.
We don't look for it to get warmer, unfortunately, but we manage.
I know.
Anything exciting happening with you?
Oh yeah. And like I said, I haven't even because of the Day of the Kings is Thursday. We haven't even put away the Christmas tree yet.
Okay.
I took down the Christmas cards and that, but I didn't, some of the decorations, the outside's still there. And Henry wants to wait till I come back on Sunday because I'm going from Thursday to Sunday. But I told my daughter, no, Mija, let's start putting some of that stuff away so we can get rid, She's okay, Mom.
Back to normal. I like to leave them up longer, but I understand.
Yeah. I have a friend that I think you know her, Lupe Lara, and in San Antonio, she has a Christmas tree and she leaves it up all year. She just changes it like on Valentine's, she puts everything, Valentine's. On Easter, she puts eggs on it and Easter bunnies. I mean, it's really a unique idea. She never has to take down the tree.
Yeah. That is unique, and it gives her something to celebrate, visual to celebrate.
Yeah, I remember when I went to see her, it was like El Dia de los Muertos, and I said, "You got the tree up?" She said, "We leave it up all year." I said, "Oh my God, I had never thought of that." I have to buy enough things for each holiday to dress up the tree.
That's another challenge. You may not want to do that.
You got that right. I got enough doing, like we made 20 dozen tamales and we made sweet tamales and I was exhausted.
Oh my. Oh,
that's why I said I'm real happy. Everybody's gone home. and I said, I'm really happy. I said, I had 4 great-grandchildren here this year. So it was a 6-year-old little grandson. He's great-grandson. He's real active. I said he was climbing the orange trees in the backyard, and I was so afraid he'd get hurt. These young people let these kids go. Oh, Mom, it's adventurous. Oh, I worry like I always did that they get hurt.
Of course. I would.
But we think differently, Mary, than this younger generation.
We do. I don't know.
Some of these people I'm dealing with on the board, especially the ones that are 30, and they're like, they've got all the answers, Mary, all of them. They just don't know what the questions are.
Yeah.
I'm serious. Remember when I tell you that.
That's a problem.
Yeah.
See, how close are we?
Oh my goodness.
We only got 3 minutes. I don't see staff or anything. I'm sure they're listening to our banter.
So Mary, the mayor is going to run as independent, huh?
Isn't that interesting?
Well, if anybody can do it, I guess Mike can.
Well, he likes challenges, obviously.
Obviously. I'm sure he did his homework.
Oh, for sure, for sure. Well, when you look at the vote, from various aspects of the state, I can probably see his logic to some extent, but that's a lot of work.
Gonna be interesting.
Very, and it'll be interesting to see who else runs. Yeah.
Mary, did your son come in from California?
Oh, we didn't.
Oh,
I missed him too. We're getting close. I see all the agendas up there now.
oh yeah, I just saw that. Uh-huh.
Somehow I can't get it on my iPad. I don't know why. Donald tried to help me, but it didn't work. So I'm just looking at my desktop. I'm sure I'll get all the assistance I need from a special person.
Well, we start our meeting in a couple minutes.
Yeah.
Morning, Matthew. Happy New Year to everybody.
Are you there?
I can see him and but I can't hear him.
Happy New Year to you, Commissioner Garcia. Sorry, I had my phone on mute.
Happy New Year, Sam. Linda.
Hi, everybody.
Everybody.
Any great news we don't know about, Mr. Phillips?
I'm sorry, Commissioner Blackman, did you say? I could barely hear you.
Any great news we don't know about?
I'm sorry, I still cannot hear you. Can someone help me? Do I just haven't?
It's not you. I'm sure it's me, but I don't know why you can't hear me. How about now?
I can
Yeah,
hear
that's
you.
way better.
I can hear you fine, Commissioner. I don't know what's wrong with Matt.
Well, something's wrong with their stuff, right?
I got all kinds of things wrong, so that's easy.
Okay. I was just asking, is there any great news we have not heard about for the agenda?
No,
There
there's
may
nothing.
be tomorrow.
Tomorrow. Okay, so you're gonna hold it in abeyance until tomorrow?
That's correct.
Teaser. Okay, Sam. Okay, what time is it?
It is noon.
Okay, I would like to call the Customer Service Committee meeting to order. Mr. President, Mr. Secretary, would you please call the roll?
Chairperson Blackman,
That's right.
Commissioner Garcia,
Present,
and,
Arizona.
and Commissioner Forte.
Present.
Madam Chair, we have a quorum.
The next item is the approval of the agenda. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Report.
Okay, and seconded by Commissioner Garcia. Any discussion on the agenda? Hearing none, all those in favor of approving indicate by the sign of aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried. Next item is the approval of minutes of December 4th. What is the will of the committee?
So move.
Support.
Been supported. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
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 Nay. Motion carried. The next item is public participation. Do we know if anyone has indicated a desire to speak before the committee?
Brian Peckinpah, Public Affairs Director for DWSD, Madam Chair. There are no hands raised, but I could certainly read the instructions if you'd like, since this is the first meeting.
Just as a formality, we'll read the instructions. I would normally say no if there's no hands raised, but please go ahead and read the instructions.
Okay. To make a comment, please raise your hand by raising the raise hand icon on your desktop or mobile device using the Zoom app. If you are calling into the meeting by phone, press *9 to raise your hand. During public comment, after your name is called, you will be given permission to unmute. In order to begin speaking, you will have to unmute yourself. To do so, press the unmute button, which is the microphone icon, if you're online or on the Zoom app, or *6 if you are calling in. You will have a limit of 3 minutes to make your comment. There will be a timer indicating your remaining time. If you're online and make a comment, we kindly request you fill out the comment card link that's located in the chat so we may contact you after the meeting. You will only be called upon once. Once the chair closes public comment, there will be no other comments for the public, and all attendees will remain muted for the duration of the committee meeting. Thank you for your attention, and thank you, Madam Chair. There are still no hands raised.
Second part, then we will consider public comment closed and go on to the next item on the agenda. I should say public participation is closed. The next item is communication. We have none. Unfinished business, we have none. Going on to new business, customer service presentation. Mr. Phillips.
Madam Chair, thank you. And if you could just give me just a moment to share my screen. Madam Chair, can you just confirm you can see my presentation?
I can see it, Mr. Phillips.
All right, wonderful. So we will start off the presentation with reviewing December of 2024's metrics. We received a little over 47,000 calls and nearly 7,000 email inquiries for a total of nearly 54,000 total customer individual touch points for the month. We received almost 2,900 contacts per day, which is just over double what our forecasted volume was. Total of 140,000 total contacts for customer service calls, emails, and self-service pieces for the day. Our volume was 103% over forecasted per day, and 21% of our calls were answered within the 2-minute service level. Our average speed of answer on the emergency line was 6 minutes and 44 seconds for a total of 44% of all of our emergency line calls were answered within 2 minutes. The average non-emergency line average speed of answer was 22 minutes and 1 second for a total of 14% of our calls answered within service level. Our customer satisfaction, our CSAT score, was at 79% to the goal of 72. So that is 16 straight months in a row that we have exceeded the customer satisfaction goals. Our first call resolution was at 67% and to our target of 71%, so just shy by 4%. And we received a little over 7,500 easy pay calls for the month of December.
So any comments? Before you go on.
Madam Chair?
Mr. Garcia.
Yeah, Mr. Phillips, I think this is so wonderful, but I would like to see, like, say if we could go back like 3 years to see the difference on how much the improvement has, like almost like a chart. I thought we saw something like that, but I wasn't sure. But I really think that's so important for the state to know that, and for the city, obviously, to know that, and to the customers, how much that has happened. Like, say if we did 20, like say if we did 3 years, 20, 23, 22, 21, and even during the pandemic, if we could just see how much improvement they've done in the customer service satisfaction. Is there a way we could do that?
There is absolutely a way we can do that. Yep, we can. How about we can make a commitment to the next committee meeting that
Okay, that would be great. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Yep, not a problem.
For us, I'd like to find a way for us to make sure that it is broadcast more than to the committee, because it is commendable for what.
Well, Madam Chair, the reason why I think it's so important is that we were fighting for this energy bill, and our legislators that were supportive, obviously knew about our history and how much the city has improved in customer service. But I think the whole state needs to know when we're talking about low income, when we're talking about, all the issues that we deal with. So I think it's almost like a chart that we can look at on the customer service, and how much, Matthew, how much you all have done so greatly. I mean, 5 years ago, you couldn't mention the city without having a complaint. And I think today it's not the same way. So I just want to thank you and commend you all.
Thank you very much. Yep, we will have that for next month.
Thank you very much, Mr. Phillips.
All right. So let's, we will, okay to proceed? All right. So let's look at the key results for Lifeline and the Easy Pay program. So currently receiving Lifeline benefits, is 12,544 individuals. We have now exceeded 17,000 residents on the Easy Pay program. There is 5,700 individuals pending eligibility by Wayne Metro for Lifeline, and the recertification has 10,708. Looking at the Easy Pay results, as of end of December, again, 17,000 people are enrolled. There's 9,666 actively paying, or 57% are successfully paying on a monthly basis. We've collected $7.7 million already since August on the Easy Pay program. And our Promise Pay vendor, which will take over communications with all of our customers, is expected to happen within the second quarter of 2025 or April. Any questions?
This is the comments. Again, outstanding result. I don't know how let the general public know, as Commissioner Garcia says, how well we are doing in all of these areas, but it's an opportunity for us to let's say toot our own horn, because there's always some out there who don't actually know how well we're doing to serve our customers. And if we can, you're going to find a way for us to do that, I'm sure, Mr. Phillips, so we can put one more star behind customer service.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Madam Chair.
Madam Chair. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
Hey, can we ask Matthew just to give a brief overview of what Promise Pay, the vendor, will be doing that hasn't been done in the past and DWSD isn't in a position to do, just so that you have an idea? I mean, 57% success rate when you only have an $18 bill. We think we can do better, and we think this company can help. And if he could just maybe briefly explain how we think they'll be able to do that, I think it would be helpful.
Sure.
Hey, Promise Pay start.
Yeah. So, Gary, thank you. So Promise Pay, I think in brief, one of the largest things that they will contribute to us is ongoing communication with our residents, and which is one of the things that we don't necessarily have the technology today to do in the immediate, which is right now we communicate with our customers on a monthly basis through their bill, either online or through paper. One of the things that Promise will do is they will communicate with our residents, periodically throughout the month. And most importantly, as their bill becomes due, they will increase the amount of communication through text messages and phone calls to remind them that their payment is due. And then once the payment becomes due and they've made a payment, the other thing they will do is celebrate the success of making that payment. And they do different various, I'll say, marketing pieces to play on the psychological pieces of humans, which is they have confetti that falls down from the screen on their phone that says, thank you, you've done a wonderful job, you've paid. There's little fireworks that go off and stuff like that. So it's a celebration of making a payment, along with making the reminders. The other thing that it will help is that if they do miss a payment, they will reach out to the customer and say, hey, your payment was due yesterday, you didn't make a payment, what can we do to help you? And it allows them to get back on track within the next 30 days. And what I think one of the biggest successes, which is why we chose Promise, was that they find that within the first 24 hours of missing a payment, nearly 50% of all the customers that miss a payment actually catch up and make a payment within 24 hours. And I believe, I'm kind of going off the top of my head, Gary, but I believe it is a 96% success rate before the end of the month. If they do miss a payment, that they actually make a payment. So right now we're at, and if we remember, just as an example, is that back when we had 10/30/50, the average success rate of making a payment was around 10%. Easy Pay has brought that up to 57%, which you can see here. And Promise has, in the 10 other largest cities comparable to Detroit, they have a 96% success rate of making a payment within before the next payment is due. So I think that's how I think it will show our progress of success moving forward with Promise. Gary, you're on mute.
As a practical standpoint, if I have a doctor or dental appointment on Friday, I usually get a text on Tuesday reminding me and asking me to reschedule if I'm not going to be able to make it. And if I don't respond, I get an email. And if I don't respond, I get a phone call. And then, it's and you can opt out of this, obviously, if you don't, I actually don't opt out of it because I want to be reminded that I have the appointments. And that's how practically it will help us get our collection rate up, hopefully. Thanks, Matt.
Absolutely.
Director Ann, thank you again for explaining it more thoroughly, Matt.
Question?
Sure. Garcia.
Yes, Matthew, on the Lifeline, if people get removed because of non-payment or something, are they penalized not to go back on or for a while, or they just make adjustments and then go back on, or is there a penalty there?
No, there's no, Commissioner Garcia, there is no penalty. And so we don't impose any type of penalties. And I will just say, without getting into kind of the policies, is that we provide multiple opportunities for our Lifeline customers to get back onto the program.
Okay.
I can say that I don't, as of today, I don't know of any individual that has been removed from Lifeline because of non-payment. We give plenty of opportunities for our residents to get back onto the program. And it's the same way in Easy Pay. There's multiple opportunities. I believe you have 3 separate opportunities for failure to make a payment to get back onto the program before you're fully removed. So
okay.
we do give our residents plenty of opportunity to remain on the program and to be successful. We do know that things happen in life, and we want to give everyone an opportunity to have the ability to get right back on when life happens.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Ask a question regarding that, Mr. Phillips. A customer who is not able to pay, just doesn't have the money right at that time. I think they're probably reluctant to contact us to say, I just can't pay. But if they do, what options can we offer them?
Sure. There's written into the policy for both Lifeline and Easy Pay. There is multiple opportunities to get back on. I will say that most of our customers do contact us and say, hey, I missed my payment and I now have this, we call them the red bill. I've got my red bill that says that I'm past due. What can I do? And so Easy Pay is probably one of the biggest examples that I can use, is that we actually offer, all we ask is that the resident make up the Easy Pay payment, not the full bill, to get back onto the program. So for most of our customers, it's $35. That's the average Easy Pay payment. So if you miss a payment and you call us up and say, I missed, I got this red bill, we ask you to catch up on the Easy Pay payment. And then we actually redivide the entire balance by 36 months again, and to get back onto the program. So I would say that if I were to compare this to any other utility company or credit card company or any other bill you have, I would be, I think, pretty safe to say that we have the most generous get back onto the program policies out there.
If a customer calls and says, I just don't have it right now, what do we tell them? And what can we help? How can we help them?
Well, the first thing that we're gonna, if they literally just do not have any money whatsoever, we're gonna refer them to one of our local community action agencies or nonprofits to seek assistance. There is programs like the State Emergency Relief Fund that's out there, or with DHS, Michigan Department of Health and Human Services. The various community action agencies and nonprofits receive, philanthropic grants that can help our customers out. So we're going to recommend them to seek out the assistance that is available to our residents that can help them get back on track or help them out for the month.
And you may proceed.
Madam
you.
Chair, I had a question. I think it's just a matter, I think it's probably pretty straightforward. Maybe 2 or 3 slides back, there was, I'm trying to understand the difference between the term right there. Eligibility, LL pending eligibility, and then LL pending recertification. I just want to make
Yep.
sure I'm clear on that.
Sure. So the eligibility is to get into Lifeline. So you're a net new individual that has raised their hand to say, I would like to get into Lifeline. And then the recertification pending is someone that was on Lifeline or currently is on Lifeline, and they're seeking to be recertified into the new grant year or the new funding year.
Got it. Thank you.
Yep. Any other questions about Lifeline or Easy Pay? All right, Madam Chair, if we could move on to the next agenda item, which is the planning calendar. Madam Chair,
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Okay, yes, please, thank you.
All right. So I would like to provide the board and the public with a Lifeline financial stability report on what Lifeline is currently looking like as far as funding sources go and what our plans are for the future. As a side note, Deborah Pospich will provide a legislative update next Wednesday at the formal session of the board. So you'll hear a little bit more from the legislative side. So, but for today, I'm going to stick on the funding sources. So currently, Lifeline has 3 funding sources that are available to it. The first one is the Great Lakes Water Authority and DWSD Partnership RAP program, which is $3.5 million. There was $2.6 million awarded to Wayne Metro Community Action Agency through the Michigan Water Affordability Grant, and $5.1 million was awarded to Wayne Metro Community Action Agency through what we call LUAU, which is the Local Water Utility Affordability Grant. So all 3 of these funding sources for Lifeline equals $11.2 million in total funding available for the fiscal year 2025. And the fiscal year on the affordability programs varies, there is a little bit different from our current DWSD financial year or fiscal year, which runs from July. The grants typically start October 1st. So that's what when we talk about fiscal year 2025, we're talking about October 1st of 2024 through September 30th of 2025.
Help to have that on that slide, the difference between the funding year and the fiscal year.
Madam Chair, I'm sorry, I didn't understand your question.
Would it help on this slide? We're talking about the fiscal year and the funding year.
Sure.
Would it be helpful for anyone looking at this to be able to denote the differences between the 2?
Sure. We can change the language to be funding as opposed to fiscal.
Okay.
Absolutely.
You may proceed. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. So what does $11.2 million in funding provide to us for the Lifeline program? And so in brief, Lifeline will be able to serve approximately 10,800 customers will be able to receive the Lifeline benefit based on the funding that we have. And I just wanted to show just briefly what that looks like from a total number of enrollees, which is 10,800, looking at the gap, which is the average gap cost per resident that's on Lifeline is $618 a year. The average arrearage for those that are being recertified coming into the program as of October 1st, 2024 is $193. And then we also have the admin cost, and that is the cost of processing applications that's paid to Wayne Metro Community Action Agency, which also includes additional wraparound services going forward. Our residents know that if they run into any financial issues or have any other questions and or additional resources that may help them out, in other areas, whether it be other utility sources or filing their taxes and that type of thing. There's $188 that's paid to Wayne Metro to process the application and continue those wraparound services throughout the year. I won't get into the math of this, but I just wanted to show the total cost of the program and what it looks like and how we're able to serve 10,800 individuals on the Lifeline program.
Question, Madam Chair.
Yes, Commissioner.
So Matthew, are we saying that Wayne Metro in fees get what, $600,000?
I don't have that math in front of me. Do you see, where do you see, are you looking at
No,
something?
I was just looking at the line. I was following the line. I'm sorry, but you're saying that they get charged administration fee of 188. Who pays the 188? It comes out of the grant?
It comes out of the grant funding, yes.
But they get 188 for each client.
That is correct.
Do we have an idea of how much that is in the fiscal year?
Yeah, I do. I don't have it right in front of me, but I can certainly provide that.
And that's really a fee for enrolling each employee, each customer.
Each customer, that is correct.
And the money doesn't come out of them. It really comes out of the grant that the state gives us.
That is correct.
I'd like to know how much that is.
Sure.
Per fiscal year. I don't have a lot of confidence in Wayne Metro, and that's why I guess I question that. I just a little get concerned about that. That's all. I'd like to know. Thank you, Matthew.
Good information. Thank you, Commissioner Garcia. It's good information to ask for. Okay.
All right. So if there's no other questions about the financials, we can move on to our action plan moving forward. So the first thing that we did was we aligned the Lifeline program based on the funding source. So we don't want to spend or commit more money than what's coming in. And so that puts us at the $11.2 million for 10,800 enrollees. As of December 9th, we know that the number of individuals that have stepped forward seeking assistance through the Lifeline program has exceeded the amount of funding that's available. So we have paused accepting new applications for the Lifeline program effective December 9th, 2024. Once all of the enrollees are recertified and all of the funding is completed and completely exhausted, which we expect to have happen within the first quarter of 2025. Any applicant that is unable to enroll into Lifeline because there is no more funding, or what we will say is the funding is exhausted, we will migrate all of those applicants into the Easy Pay program as to be able to receive that benefit of taking their past due balance and dividing it by 36, which is what the Easy Pay program allows. Any customer or resident that does not want to participate in the Easy Pay program can opt out at any time just by calling us, and we will send out communication once we know what all those customers look like and who they are. The average recertification enrollee owes $193. Once on Easy Pay, we do know that the average water bill of our residents is $85. Dividing out that $193 would provide a $5.36 Easy Pay payment. So their bill would go from $85 to $90 as a way to help them with their water bill. But those customers will not receive an $18.43 or $56 payment on Easy Pay. That is only for Lifeline enrollees, and we can only enroll individuals into Lifeline for the funding that we have available. And then again, if additional funding becomes available through the state or other grants or philanthropic sources, we will allow additional customers into the Lifeline program as funding comes in.
Question, Madam Chair.
Yes, please.
Matthew, if I'm not mistaken, when we first started the Lifeline, there wasn't the numbers that was applying for it. So I thought we estimated so many people were going to be eligible. And I don't think it was going to be 10,000. I thought it was going to be quite a bit. And we didn't have the people enrolling in numbers. So how did we get from that aspects to not having enough for the people that are eligible?
You're saying enough what?
Well, if I remember correctly, there wasn't the enrollment at the beginning, you know, in other words, we were estimating so many people were going to be eligible at the beginning, and we didn't have those numbers. Today we have approximately 10,000, but I thought that they had figured there would be more than 10,000 that would be eligible based on income.
Oh, I think we know that the number of people that are eligible for the Lifeline program far exceeds 10,000.
Right.
The number of individuals is, probably closer to 50,000. And in the past, we've had, nearly 30,000 people enrolled in Lifeline. But if you remember some of the prior presentations that we've had, is that the amount of funding that's available to support the Lifeline program is a lot lower, the available funding, than the number of people that are eligible for the program. And so, currently the Lifeline program is short by nearly $45 million in comparison to the need to the amount of funding that's available. So the Lifeline program, we needed to realign it based on the funding source.
Well, I guess my question is that, and I think it has to be brought up to Lansing, that, my biggest concern is Lifeline continues for people that are unable to pay their bills. Matthew, they give away money, $20 million to a program that didn't exist. So I guess as a social worker, I get very concerned about the not using the money for where it's needed. I mean, it's almost like first come, first serve for the Lifeline, and even whether they're eligible, and I guess I'm just very concerned on how they're working this all out for the city of Detroit and some of the people that are below the poverty level.
Yeah, I think we're all concerned. And I think that, to Gary or Director Brown, Deb Pospich, myself, I think we've made our message very, very clear about the need in the city of Detroit, let alone the need in the state of Michigan for water affordability programs. And
well, I think the repercussions is happening across the board. People in the city of Detroit are having a hard time just getting access to funding. It's become very difficult for people. You go to the social services and they put you online, and then they disconnect you, and it takes you weeks to get assistance. So, I think our lobbyists did a very bad job of not pushing what they needed to push for people that were low income. And as somebody that works in this city, I just think that we need to do a better job, because obviously I get concerned about what's going to happen in the next year or so. But I'm just really concerned about how we're going to help these people because so many other things are hitting. It's almost like a repercussion of what's going to happen down the road. I guess that was been my concern. And, and I'm not happy with how they handled this.
Excuse me, Commissioner. We do have to open up the HR committee.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay, then we will recess this committee meeting to the call of the chair.
All right. Thank you all, and Happy New Year to all. Mr. Riggs, could we have a roll call, please?
Chairperson Davis,
Present.
Commissioner Blackman,
Right.
Commissioner Garcia.
Present, Arizona. Thank you.
Mr. Chair, we have a quorum.
Thank you, sir. We'll now recess to the call of the chair.
We will reconvene the customer service committee meeting. We you were commenting, someone was commenting toward the end. I want to say, Commissioner Garcia, I think we all share your concern. I think also that we tried to do some things legislatively that did not take place. We lobbied in Lansing to get additional funding for our low-income customers, and we were not successful. Would you like to comment on that, Mr. Phillips, or even the?
I will. Yeah, I'll just make a quick comment and just say, first of all, I think next week, Deb Pospich will provide, a thorough update on everything that happened. But just I think that the days and nights that were spent, and I mean literally nights, that I think Deb even stayed multiple nights in Lansing to ensure that she was there, and attending all of the House sessions to ensure that this thing was passed. And it just didn't happen. So if anybody's questioning the fight that we made and the presence that we had in Lansing to get this thing pushed through, I would say that we did an absolute remarkable job of being there and pushing our agenda and showing the need, not only in the city of Detroit, but also in the state, that I don't know what else could have been done. How's that? I was also personally there as well, and in Lansing, and I will just say I don't know what else we could have done to get our message across that the need is there. So
I thank you, Matthew. I do know how hard everybody was working. I just think that I think we can't wait to the end. I think we need to do an ongoing job all year long.
And I thought that's what we were trying to do also, if I'm not mistaken, Mr. Phillips, that we didn't wait till the end on this one. We've been working with legislators for some time trying to get the bill passed that would help us. Am I mistaken, or is that correct?
I would definitely say that there has been a team effort from Director Brown on down, that all of us have spent multiple days in Lansing, Washington, D.C., at numerous conferences, trying to get our message across and spread the news about what is needed here in the city. So I
thank you, Matthew, and I thank Director Brown. I know how hard it was for all of you. I just think that it has to be ongoing. That's all. I think it's something that, and everything changed in Lansing, so it's going to be a lot harder on the citizens of the city of Detroit, I think. So I'm very concerned. That's all. There's nothing else we can do, I guess. But I thank you for your efforts. I just worry. That's all.
Yep, and we share your concern.
Yeah, Madam Chair, let me also say to Commissioner Garcia that there was plenty of support on both sides of the aisle for the legislation. And so I agree with you that the fight should continue. This wasn't just Democrats. We had Republicans that were also on board. We just never got it up for a vote. Had it gotten up for a vote, well, obviously it can't win if you don't get it up to be voted on. So it died because it didn't get vote, not because it didn't have, bilateral support across the state. And so we'll continue, and I think that Pospich will be able to outline recommendations on how going forward we can continue to fight for legislation.
Thank you.
Asking the questions, Commissioner, I think it really helped to clarify how much work has gone into trying to get this legislation passed. Thank you. Mr. Phillips?
That concludes our presentation for today, Madam Chair.
Okay, thank you. I need to see the agenda. All right. If you could move it up a little bit on my screen. All right. Next item on the agenda is the planning calendar, Lifeline Financial Stability Report. Is that forthcoming?
We just heard that, Madam Chair.
We just did?
We just did that. That's been completed. We're on other matters, number 10.
I can't see it. Okay. Are there any other matters to come before the committee? I see none listed. All right, then if there's nothing under other matters, we're moving on to our next meeting date is February 5th, 2024. If there are no other concerns, Chair will entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Support.
Back to Mr. Garcia. This meeting stands adjourned. And thank you all.
All right, we will now reconvene the Human Resources Subcommittee. Is there a motion to approve today's agenda?
So move, Mr. Chairman.
Is there a second?
Second, Commissioner Blackman.
Thank you. The motion's been made and properly seconded. All in favor, signify
Aye.
by the sign of aye.
Aye.
All opposed, that motion is carried. Is there a motion for approval of the minutes of December 4?
Mr. Chair,
Commissioner Blackman?
Support.
Motion's been made and properly supported. All in favor of the motion signify by the sign of aye.
Aye.
All opposed, that motion is also carried. Do we have any public participation?
Mr. Chair, that's Brian Peckinpah, Public Affairs Director. We do not have any hands raised at this time.
All right, thank you, Mr. Peckinpah.
You're welcome.
We do not have any communications nor unfinished business, which takes us to the human resources metrics by our HR Director, Ms. Thornhill. Ms. Thornhill.
Good afternoon, Commissioners.
Good afternoon.
I'm going to share my screen. Okay, we will cover the human resources metrics. We'll start off with our total employee demographics. We have a total of 673 employees. This is one more than we did report out on last month. So DWSD has increased by one employee.
Director Thornhill, could you flip back to that opening? Just 1 second. Give me 1 second.
Sure.
Okay, thank you. I'm good. Thank you.
Okay, sure thing. And we did not have any retirements last month. I just was double checking on that. However, are there any questions before we proceed? Okay, and again, we'll show our trajectory on employee total numbers, and you see that we are on progress to probably hit 700 total employees by the end of the year. And again, our retirement eligible, it's decreasing because we're hiring more entry-level employees. So we have gone from 22%, as high as 22% retirement eligible, now down to 18%. Are there any questions? Okay. We currently have 12 requisitions open, and that equates to 14 positions. And we only have one slide for open positions. So are there any questions from anyone? None?
I have
Okay.
a question, Mr. Chairman. Ms.
Commissioner
Thornton.
Garcia.
Yes, the difference between the office support specialist and the customer service qualified specialist, there's different. And then you got the team leader. So what is the difference in their qualifications?
Okay, that's a great question, Commissioner Garcia. So our office support specialists, they do just that. They support the office with clerical work. So there's clerical assignments. So it could be varying degrees of clerical work for various leaders of management within the office itself. Whereas the customer support specialist works specifically on supporting the customer, usually answering the phones in some type of capacity or email or responding to customer needs. Our team leader supervises those individuals.
And these positions are online open then?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Any others? All right, so we're going to talk about our planning calendar item today, which is S licenses. And we discuss S licenses at least once a year because we like to highlight our DWSD employees who have gone above and beyond to obtain their certification. So just as a refresh, and again, we've discussed this before, the Safe Water Drinking Act requires operator certification and minimal professional standards for the operation and the maintenance of the public water system. Again, the water supplies must be under the supervision of a certified water drinking operator. And within each system, there's the Class S distribution with levels 1 through 5. Because of DWSD size, we require an operator to be certified at the S1 level. And you'll see here the size breakdown for varying population sizes. Okay. So what we have done here at DWSD, our operations team, initially led by Sam Smalley, we have offered training to our employees, including math training, so that they could learn about water systems and obtain their various certifications. And you'll see here on the left side of the chart, you have the 5 different levels, S1 through S5. And here at DWSD, to the far right, you'll see how many operators we have licensed in each one of those categories. In the middle, you'll see the amount of full-time experience required before you can become certified at that level. So let's talk a little bit about how this occurs. And you've heard me mention before, Sam Smalley would teach the classes. Well, we are proud to say that here at DWSD, and let me go back to the slide for a second. Here at DWSD, we've had one of our very own FSTs work up through the ranks over the years, who's now an assistant manager, and he is an S1 operator, and his name is Phil Curry. So congratulations to Mr. Curry's and others that I will acknowledge shortly, but you will see here on the screen the breakdown of operators we have at each level. So at DWSD, even though we're only required to have 1 at the S1 level, we have 5 now, thanks to this training that we're offering here. And everyone must pass a test before they become certified. We have a person licensed at the S2 level, 15 at S3, 32 at S4, and 4 at S5. And a lot of our employees here licensed at the S5 level are not working in operations, but they have a desire to learn more about the business.
Excuse me, Patricia. We do have to open up the Capital Improvement Program and Operations Committee.
Okay.
All right, we will now recess the Human Resources Committee and to the call of the chair.
Sandy.
So Marion? Marion?
Commissioner Kenlock, are you chairing this meeting in place of Commissioner Coleman?
Oh, okay, I wasn't aware of that, but thank you. The Capital Improvement Program and Operations Committee meeting will now come to order. Would you please call the roll?
Commissioner Kenlock,
Present.
Commissioner Davis,
Present.
and Chairperson Coleman is absent. Mr. Chair, we do have a quorum.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is hold on, okay, I had to move it. Next item on the agenda is approval of the agenda. A motion is in order.
We do have to recess this
Oh,
committee
okay.
to go back to HR's committee.
Okay, we'll recess to the call of the chair. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. We will now reconvene the Human Resources Committee. Ms. Thornhill.
Thank you. I'll share my screen again. Okay. So to pick up where we left off, we were talking about the number of DWSD employees that are licensed at each category. And you'll see here, I think we stopped at S3. We have 15 employees, S4 at 32, and S5 at 4. So we talked about Sam Smalley kicking off the training that started around 2020. And in 2020, we had at the time 18 licensed employees at DWSD, but we began offering the training and the math training to supplement for the test. And more DWSD employees got certified. So now we have a total of 57 DWSD employees certified. So we like to give them a hand and also acknowledge our 2024 employees who became certified.
Commendation.
We have three, I think 2 or 3 screens here. Again, I mentioned Mr. Curry, who's now an assistant manager, came up through the ranks, and now he teaches the class. So we just think that's wonderful. Great job, Sam Smalley, for laying that foundation and that framework. You see the various divisions here: engineering, maintenance, and repair, stormwater. More engineers, field service technicians from AFSCME and MBTC. Team leaders, and our field service coordination specialists, which some people may call our dispatchers, but they're field service coordination specialists, program analysts. We have 4 slides. Or the 3, excuse me. Are there any questions?
Just commendations on the progress.
Sam Smalley, would you like to add anything?
Thank you, Patricia. It's really means a lot that Detroit has adopted what I call a learning mentality, where the group is now self-sustaining. And I know I've said this before, but the state Eagle says that Detroit has the highest pass rate in the state. So something that we can all celebrate. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? Just a few facts regarding the training. The preparation is twice a week for 8 weeks. And again, we provide math tutoring for those that require it. And there's also a continuing education piece. And in prior presentations, I've shown you on our DWSD website where you can access a link that takes you to training where you can continue your continuing education credits or CECs. We also reward our employees once they obtain their certification with an additional $1 an hour increase. And if for some reason they're at the top of their pay range, they receive a one-time bonus, depending upon the level. And that concludes my report. Thank you.
Chair,
And thank you, Ms. Thornhill.
Chair,
Commissioner Blackman.
is that bonus awarded at one time or is it over a certain number of months?
One time, Commissioner Blackman.
It's done at one time. Okay, thank you.
All right. You're all set, Ms. Thornhill? That's
Yes.
it? I see the
Yes,
planning
that's okay.
calendar still there.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, all right, are there any other matters? I don't see any. Our next meeting is February 5th, 2025. It says 04 here. But is there a motion to adjourn?
Again, Mr. Chair.
Support.
Motion's been made and supported. We are adjourned. Thank you all.
Thank you.